So, my name is Ina Gencheva from F6S, the InnoMatch project coordinator, and I'm super happy to share with you today what InnoMatch has to offer for you. I'm here today with my colleagues from InnoMatch that will be supporting me, answering to all your questions after the presentations. Before we start, let me quickly present the agenda of the session for today. I'll share with you what is InnoMatch about. Then I'll deep dive in the open call for EIC Awardee and Buyer, Wave 1. Then we'll quickly focus on the matchmaking opportunities that we are providing. And finally, we'll have a Q&A slot for you to ask all your questions. Some housekeeping rules. Oops. Sorry about it. Some housekeeping rules. As I've mentioned, the webinar will be recorded. It's already being recorded. All participants should be muted. And you can post your questions in the Q&A box after the presentations. So let me start with the brief InnoMatch overview first. InnoMatch is powered by the EIC Innovation Procurement Program. It is a key component of that program and aims to facilitate the faster commercialization of cutting-edge technologies through procurement. It will run for 36 months, and we kickstarted it in last September. InnoMatch aims to support the pilot testing or proof of concept demonstration of innovative solutions provided by EIC awardees for buyers, or public or private procurement customers. And each pilot will run for 6 months. In total, we will be selecting 38 pilots. Through a competitive process. We have several kinds of open calls that will be running throughout the InnoMatch duration. Let me go to the next slide. Sorry, something's happening. But yeah, here it is. I've managed. This slide presents InnoMatch in a nutshell. It is all about de-risking innovation procurement and leading to high potential for adoption of the solutions that we will be financing and bringing them faster to market. InnoMatch targets on one side buyers, both public and private, as I've mentioned, and on the other side, European companies who can offer tailored innovative solutions to solve the buyers' unmet innovation needs or innovation challenges. InnoMatch helps the buyers and the suppliers to match and to apply in pair to our open calls. In this case, to this EIC awardee and buyer open call. If selected, the EIC awardee will receive the grant of up to 60,000 euro to test their solution. The selected pilots or proof of concepts will enter the InnoMatch program, the 12-month InnoMatch program, where the InnoMatch team will support and guide the EIC awardees and their committed buyers to deploy these solutions. But we also want to assure, of course, we cannot oblige the buyers, but we want to assure that the successful solutions are adopted after the pilot phase. That's why we're talking all the time, and you will see about committed buyers. Of course, there are benefits for both the EIC awardees and the buyers that InnoMatch is offering, and this is not only the grant that the selected EIC awardees will receive. The EIC awardees will be given the chance to reach out to strategic customers to test and improve their solutions, which will eventually lead to a high potential for adoption. If the solution is successful, the buyers will have the opportunity to receive free of charge innovative solution to their burning innovation need. They will be able to collaborate with top-notch innovators while having the opportunity to engage in proof of concept demonstration or pilot testing before committing to the full-scale procurement. So we are applying the test before invest approach here for the buyers. And that is why we're speaking about de-risking innovation procurement. On top of this, the InnoMatch team will facilitate the matchmaking between the EIC awardees and the buyers where this is needed through a series of matchmaking sessions and tailored support, while both EIC awardees and the buyers will benefit from a wide promotion and visibility campaign along the way, and from some growth services also for those that will be selected. Here is presented an overview of all InnoMatch open calls and how it will all work. The first open call targets EIC awardees who are invited to apply paired with a committed buyer. The EIC awardee applies on behalf of the pair. The open call has two waves, and today info webinar is specifically providing details about wave one. We have another open call for buyers which was launched in February. It targets both public and private buyers who are invited to submit their burning unmet innovation needs under 5 thematic areas, and at least one unmet need will be selected per topic, and with the support of the InnoMatch partners will be polished into 5 innovation challenges that will fit into our last open call, the open call for EIC awardees, where we will be looking for innovative solutions for the identified 5 challenges to be proposed by the EIC awardees. As I've mentioned, if selected, all EIC awardees and their committed buyers will enter the 12-month InnoMatch program supported by the InnoMatch team, of course. And this is the amazing team that is behind InnoMatch, supported, of course, by the EIC Innovation Procurement team at ACE-MEA, and many thanks to all of you involved in that. And now, let us deep dive into the open call for EIC awardee and buyer and what is in it for you. We're looking for an EIC awardee who will apply in pair with a committed buyer. In the first wave, we aim to select up to 20 pilots or proof of concepts that will enter the 12-month InnoMatch program, as I've mentioned. It is important to mention here that the actual pilot deployment is 6 months. The InnoMatch program for the selected EIC awardees will start from June, July this year and will continue until mid-2026. So you can see here, we'll start with the prepare on the slide. We'll start with the prepare phase, the deployment for 6 months. Then there will be an assessment phase, and the EIC awardees and their committed buyers will be supported by the InnoMatch team along the way. Make sure that you apply before April 17th. The applicants for this open call are only EIC awardees. Buyers cannot submit an application. As I've mentioned, up to 20 pilots or proof of concepts will be awarded with up to 60k euro each in the form of a lump sum. Who are the eligible applicants? I keep receiving this question from many potential applicants. So it is single legal entities who are EIC awardees. EIC awardees are entities who have a signed contract, and this is very important, under any of the Horizon Europe EIC initiatives. EIC Pathfinder, EIC Transition, EIC Accelerator, or are EIC Prize winner. Those also, it is important to focus on that, those entities who are able to facilitate the commercial exploitation of the solution in case the pilot or the proof of concept is successful and to bring the innovation to the market. So I do hope that these slides sheds more light to the eligibility. Then it is important also to mention that an applicant can submit up to 2 separate proposals in one online application form. One buyer can commit up to 2 proposals with different EIC awardees. And also each proposal must be addressing a different innovation challenge of the buyer. It is important to submit at application stage a commitment letter from the buyer and be aware that only one proposal per EIC awardee can be funded within the entire duration of InnoMatch. And now, the evaluation criteria. Each applicant will be evaluated by experienced external experts following the 4 main evaluation criteria. Those criteria are exactly the same and in the same order, as you can see them here, as you have them in the proposal template. Available on our website, you can download it from there, fill it in, and attach it to the online application form. The commitment criterion is with the biggest weight, 40%. You can see this in our open call guidelines. And in addition to that, synergies, participation in other activities of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program, would it be Spin for EIC initiative, matchmaking events, or other relevant EIC bus services, either for the buyers or for the EIC awardees, will be considered as an advantage in this open call. I will not go into detail for each of the evaluation criteria, but if you have any particular specific questions, do let us know and we will try to answer them. You can find all documents for this open call, as I've mentioned, on the InnoMatch website. At application stage, you must consider only the proposal template and the commitment letter by the buyer. Again, a template that is available on the InnoMatch website. The rest of the documents that you can see here, documents in case you are selected, are only shared with you for transparency and they're not due at application stage. Then, this is the indicative timeline of the open call and the evaluation and the selection process that follows after the open call closes. As I have mentioned, you can submit your application until April 17th. Right afterwards, the eligibility check will follow. This is done by the InnoMatch team. And then the external evaluation and selection will be done by external experts until June. From June, July, we plan to start with the contracting phase and we'll kickstart the InnoMatch program for the selected applicants. Finally, it is strongly recommended before submitting your application to make sure that you have read very carefully all the documents. We know there's a lot to read. Our guidelines are around 35 pages, but it is extremely important to be aware of the eligibility criteria, of all the requirements. Make sure that there is no conflict of interest with your application and that the solution, and it is very, very important that the solution is not funded under any other EIC initiative or program so that you can avoid double funding. As I have mentioned, do not forget also to attach the 2 documents that we need at application stage, the proposal template filled in by you and the commitment letter by your committed buyer. And of course, submit your application on time through the F6S platform. You can ask questions also by using the discussion board in the F6S platform or by sending us an email. Both ways work for us. So read the documents, ask your questions, and then submit. You can have here the links. We will be sharing basically with you this presentation on our website, so you will have it. You can revisit it. And also, if you cannot ask all your questions today, or if we cannot answer them today, you will have another chance. Next info webinar is planned for end of March. And please do follow our website, our LinkedIn page, where you will receive soon more information and will be able to register. And while finally, I promise, finally, while the Open Call is running, the InnoMatch team will be facilitating the matchmaking between EIC awardees and buyers. We will do that through a series of short sessions. The first one will happen online on March 20th, combined with another interesting event, but I will not reveal much on that webinar today. For more information, please do visit our website and follow us on LinkedIn. And now I would like to give the word to my colleague Lucas from Civita so that he'll explain how InnoMatch can help you match with the right buyer through our tailored matchmaking support, which is something on top of the matchmaking sessions that we are organizing. And thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, so hi everyone. So before we jump into the Q&A, I just wanted to take a few minutes to kind of explain to you how we support you further in case what you've heard today and saw online is interesting to you, right? So if you're listening today and something has resonated with you and maybe you automatically think, I have to apply together with this person or this organization. And I would like to really participate in InnoMatch that way. Then I would like to really kindly invite you directly to our matchmaking sessions that Ina already shown some light on. But we're also planning to do an extra session here for you together with the person that you already know, maybe the buyer, and we can help you onboard them into this process of kind of conjoined application, right? So it will be similar to this info session in the information we share, but we can also go a little bit deeper into what it is actually like running those pilots together. How much time does it take? What is kind of expected from you there? So both of you, the EIC solver and buyer in that case, can have a better understanding of what the commitment is to the program and where we develop the most value for you. At the same time, so I also want to point and give special place for those that maybe don't know exactly with who they would like to work with. We also do some tailored matchmaking approach here. So you can contact us either to the forum or to us directly, like Ina mentioned. And we can help you find maybe buyers or EIC solvers already. In case this match is not exactly how you want, then we would also urge you to take a look at our open call number 2 and 3 already. But we will have this later on in the program. So yeah, please don't be a stranger. We're here to help you. We are very hardworking people here in InnoMatch, so we'll do everything we can to help you in the application process and finding the right organization to work with. So yeah, on that note, I think it's good to also hear from you what questions you might have for us already in the Q&A session.
Thank you, Lucas. Indeed, maybe I was just rushing through the presentation, but I wanted to reach the Q&A because I saw already that we have a lot of questions in the Q&A chat, Q&A box. So it's time for the Q&A. And happy to check all the questions now. Let me see. Maybe we can start with the first one. Hello, what award should have the participant applicant have won go in step 1, go in step 2, granted by the EIC Accelerator. Maybe one of my colleagues can add the link to the EIC bus services in the chat. I don't have it now open. And to let the applicants check what are the EIC initiatives, Transition, Pathfinder, and the EIC prizes. And while we're looking for the link, I'll go to the next question. What is the aim of the matchmaking if we have already our partner to deploy the solution? And I'll pass this question to Lucas because it is very much related to what you've already shared, Lucas.
This is great. Okay. If you have already a partner to deploy the solution, this is open call one. Okay. Go directly. This is why we have open call one, so that if you know each other already, go. But we do our matchmaking still to help you along, because probably for some it's only the EIC solver now being in this info webinar, and you have to relay this information to this buyer. Well, we just want you to help you with that process too. So that's why I want to have a separate session where we can invite both of you and we can walk you through it directly in contact with us. So in case that maybe the buyer has questions that you haven't thought about yet, they can also ask us directly. So that's what we're trying to do here. But yeah, no, great. If you already know somebody or some organization you would like to work with, please go ahead and apply. Yeah.
Thank you, Lucas, indeed. And if you already have someone, again, our tailored matchmaking support can help you, can still help you.
Yeah.
Then another one. Hello, can the EIC awardee and buyer be from the same EU country? I do not recall that we have such a rule in our guidelines, so please do check the guidelines as well. There is no such a restriction. So I would say yes, you can go. If you have your buyer, please do apply for our open call. Hello, Ina. Thank you for the presentations. We have invited for this session. Does it mean that we are eligible and already passed some screening process? No. All invited attendees today are here to deep dive into the open call requirements and eligibility criteria, but this is nothing related to phase of the open call. This is just an informative session. Once the open call closes on April 17th, all submitted applications, of course, will enter the eligibility check and then the evaluation and selection phase. I do hope that this answers your question, Nicola. Then, hi, from Manuel. I wanted to ask about eligibility. Please, Manuel, write your question in the Q&A box and we will answer to it. Then Alba Lopez has the following question. Is an SME instrument beneficiary equivalent to an EIC accelerator beneficiary? As I have mentioned, and I'm still sharing my slides, so I can very quickly try to scroll to that one regarding the EIC awardees. So single entities, signed contract under any of the Horizon Europe EIC initiatives, Pathfinder, Transition, Accelerator, and prizes. So I do hope this answers your question. For more information, again, you can check the guidelines, but this slide is super, super important for you to check so that to be sure whether you're eligible for this open call or not. Another one from an anonymous participant. Can an EIC awardee who won the grant in 2022 apply to this open call? I personally cannot provide a direct answer to that question because I'm not sure about what grant, is there a signed contract? So please send us more detailed information in the discussion board of the F6S platform or by email, and we will be happy to guide you. If any of my colleagues can jump in and answer, then it's fine. If not, a written question would be much, much appreciated. Then another one. Are there any obligations for sharing results or project dissemination? Yes, there are some obligations. They are mainly for the EIC awardees that will receive the grant if selected, and you can read about those obligations and requirements in our guidelines. It is very well described there. You haven't explained the 12-month process if we are successful. I have read that we only have 6 months to run the demonstrator. It is a bit short. Could you please elaborate on the program and what you expect at the end of the program? That's a very good question.
Good
Lucas,
question. I can take
could you
it.
please take it?
Ina, could you scroll to that slide you showed with the different phases? Perhaps it will help a bit
Absolutely.
with
Absolutely. Let me
showing.
just that one?
Yeah, this
Yeah? Yeah?
that one.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. So in total, we have 12 months, right? And we take 6 months for the deployment. Well, if you're super fast in the preparation phase, okay, and you can already be there, you can already set up some documentation in place, and you're kind of faster than the rest of the pack, there's no point for us to hold you back and wait with that, okay? We're not going to do it. Then we will see that the group shifts a little bit, and you can just start with the deployment part already. There is no reason for us to let you have a shorter deployment phase just because it said so. Okay, it's more indicative that in overall it will be 12 months, and we would like to set aside dedicated time to make sure that everything is done well. Okay, so in the preparation phase, that means, all the KPIs need to be good and nicely agreed on. You need to set up at the physical location or digitally. The infrastructure needs to talk to each other. All of that stuff. But no, to answer your question shortly, no, don't worry. You can have a longer one if you're faster in the preparation phase. Equally so, if you're super fast with assessment, or you can do continuous monitoring and those type of things, then you can maybe do it a bit longer too. What is set in stone is the interim and final report of the program. I'm sure we can ask or answer a bit more questions about that too if they are there, but they're linked to the payments. They will be halfway and towards the end of the program. And this is what is expected of you. I think that's your second question here. So that will be a document where you highlight what the progress is that you've made, what problems you've encountered in the piloting phase, and how you plan to overcome those, right? So just those three parts we're going to ask from you. It's an innovation procurement. A lot of things can go one way or the other way. You never know where you're going to end up. Sometimes we're trying to make that process a little bit less risky by having a really good proven methodology for it. But it does also mean that we're quite flexible and we are aware of that process and the risks.
Thank you so much, Lucas. And I do hope this answer sheds light to the InnoMatch program once the applicants are selected. Then we can go to the next one. Can I apply if I am an SME Phase 1 instrument awardee? Now go back again, and as I said, we'll be sharing with you this presentation. You have it on the website. We can download it and get back to it when you have any additional questions. But this is important. EIC awardee are EIC Pathfinder, EIC Transition, single entities, EIC Accelerator, with a signed contract under any of the Horizon Europe EIC initiatives, those mentioned above, and those must be able to commercialize themselves the solution afterwards, so to bring the solution to the market. This is a key here. I hope this answers your question, Nicola. And then we have another one from Ella. I tried to apply at the InnoMatch, but I just can apply as an individual from my company, not as a company. How can I apply as a company? Well, this is a very specific question. This is something related to your registration at the F6S platform, I would say, Ella. So please do send us an email and we can check it with the F6S support team to check your registration, to see how we can support you with that. So I will be expecting an email from you or a question in the F6S platform discussion board so that we can take it from there and support you. And I do hope this answers your question for now. And then we have another one. What are the eligible costs? Salaries for the pilot for both the beneficiary and the buyer, costs of materials and services related to the pilot, equipment. Can the beneficiary pay the buyer for doing trials? And I'll stop here. So I have a question for that one, and then my colleagues can jump in if they want to complement me. But apart from the guidelines, you have the proposal template. As I've shared with you, in the proposal template, we're following exactly the 4 evaluation criteria as I've shared with you in this presentation. Here they are. So you have a proposal template and you will be asked to provide information under each of those sections. And there you already have very detailed guidelines about each section, what is required, what are the eligible costs. This is also available in the guidelines and also in the proposal template. So please go to our website, download all the documents, read the documents, and then if it's still not clear to you, please come back to us and we'll try to provide more detailed information or to guide you further. And if any of my colleagues want to jump and to compliment me on that one, please feel free.
Yeah, I'm just jumping ahead a little bit because there's also one question here for the budget that maybe is also interlinked with the question from LBF, and that's whether or not it can be reserved for the buyer as well. And our answer to that would be no. So that would be an example of a cost that is not eligible. It's also only for the solver to cover some of the risks and yeah, to make sure that the pilot is happening. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Lucas. Then we have a question from Mart. We are a medical device company, but products does not yet have CE marking. Can this funding be used for extending an ongoing trial, new site, country for an already EIC funded trial? This is interesting. Or is this considered double funding? Would clinical trials comparing our product with another commonly used product for a new use case qualify? I'll ask some of my colleagues to support me on that. This is a more specific question, but very interesting. And yeah, Lucas, if you want.
Yeah, I would be careful with the double funding part. We would definitely need a little bit more explanation on how you plan to make it different. Because right now it says here, can the funding be used for extending an ongoing trial? Does it mean that the other funding will stop and we will help you continue either in a new site or new country? Well, then it's a continuation and it doesn't happen at the same time. This double funding rule makes sure that you don't just do one action and get paid for it twice. Okay, that's the kind of the underlying intent of having that double funding rule. But if you are continuing in an action, the funding stops from the other source, and now we fund this action to continue. For me, that it doesn't sound that much like double funding.
Yeah,
So
maybe
is
we
that
can
okay?
receive it in written once again. Sorry to interrupt you, Lucas, and we can consider it by email or in the discussion
Yeah,
board once again,
yeah.
because this is a specific one.
Please in writing, in email, and we can also have a call maybe to really go into it if it's not clear. But I understand the question because you don't want to waste that much resources and time applying for something you might not be eligible for. So we are here to help you with that for sure.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Lucas. And then we have another question from Elena. Hello, thanks for the webinar. When I'm making the budget up to 60K, can we reserve some budget for the buyer? No. Unfortunately, the budget is only granted to the EIC awardee. EIC awardees in this case are the only applicant. Of course, they apply in pair with a committed buyer, but the buyer only submits, signs a letter of commitment, and that's it. The applicant is the EIC awardee, and the budget goes to the EIC awardee. Then we have another question from an attendee without a name. Are SME instrument beneficiaries eligible? SME instrument became EIC accelerator, but does this mean yes, no? I will not be sharing with you again the same slide, but I do believe that it is perfectly clear now who are we're looking for exactly. EIC Accelerator, EIC Transition, EIC Pathfinder single entities, and winners of EIC prizes under the Horizon Europe EIC initiatives, as I've mentioned them already. So I do hope this clarifies. We keep receiving a lot of those questions, so that's why we've prepared a separate slide for that. And I'll go back to the next question because time is running very quickly. What exactly does signed contract mean when it comes to EIC awardees? Online, you can read eligible is also EIC awarded Seal of Excellence companies. Is the Seal of Excellence equivalent to a signed contract? No, Seal of Excellence is not equivalent to a signed contract. If you want, you can find more information, and I will ask again my colleagues to put in the chat, if possible, the link to the EIC website where all applicants can find more information about who the EIC Transition, EIC Pathfinder, EIC Accelerator companies are. And I can see that one of my colleagues is also typing an answer to this question. To the next question, what are the buyer, and I'll ask you, Fiorella, to jump in. What are the buyer commitments? Any commitment to purchase the solution or launch a tender after the pilot? Is there any commitment?
Yes.
Emmanuel is asking. So please, Fiorella.
Yes. It depends if you are a private buyer. So of course, you can proceed according to the private rules in force in your country. Instead, if you are a public buyer, so you must follow the rules of public procurement, and you can choose the right procedure of public procurement after the development of a pilot phase. So it's something relating to the next step after the pilot phase. And I would say this, if you want to provide some more information, we can go in depth, but yeah, I would say this.
Thank you so much, Fiorella, and I do hope this answers to this specific question. Then I see that Nicola again asks about the SME Phase 1 instrument. We've already answered to that question several times, so I will not answer to it again. I'll go directly to the next one from Nina. Can buyers be from the US? For that particular open call, wave 1 for EIC awardee and buyer, we do not have any restriction in regard to the country of the buyer. So if you you have a buyer that you want to apply in pair for OpenCall1, and this buyer is from US, you're free to do so. Please do check the guidelines. No restrictions there are mentioned in this regard. So I do hope this answers your question. And I'll go directly to the next one from Wei. Is there a budget limit for the pilot or the proof of concept? Yes, this is a budget limit in regard to what InnoMatch is financing. We are financing, as I've mentioned earlier in my presentation, up to 60K euro per pilot or proof of concept. Then you're free to co-finance the pilot or the proof of concept if you want. Please do check the proposal template. There you will find information for that, and also you can consult our guidelines for applicants on that specific matter as well. Then let me see another attendee. If we won a Horizon 2020, if ET Open that ended in December, can we be eligible? I think we've already answered, had received a lot of times, a lot of questions related to this kind of eligibility. So I'll directly skip that one, and because I believe we've already provided the answer, and I'll go directly to the next one. I mean, for example, so this is a follow-up on the previous question. I mean, for example, if the pilot would cost 60K, would the grant also be 60K? Or does the pilot has to cost much more to get the full 60K? We are granting up to 60K. As mentioned, this is the limit. Then again, if you want to co-finance, please feel free to do that. You're allowed to do that. But what is offered as a financial support from InnoMatch is up to 60,000 euro.
I think maybe she meant what does this up to exactly mean? Why would it not be 60K? So maybe Wei was worried that if you will not get the 60K fully, but
if you apply for those 60K and you describe well in your tables, in the proposal template, what you're going to use those 60K for, you will receive them. If your pilot is over 60K and you want to co-finance it, also feel free to do that. So it is not necessarily that the pilot is up to 60K, can be implemented only with 60K, right? I do hope that I understand this question correctly, but yeah, Lucas, please.
But basically, the reason why we have up to 60K, it means that if you apply for 40K, you're going to get 40K. We're not going to give you 60, okay? But if you apply for 80K, we're just still going to give you 60K. That's what we mean with that. So if the pilot cost is 80K, we're going to give you 60. This 20K, it has to come from somewhere. It's up to you to figure out where.
Thank you, Lucas. Yes, it is important again to mention that the limit provided by InnoMatch is up to 60. But again, this does not mean that the pilot should be implemented only with 60K. If it costs more, then you can co-finance or find the money from somewhere else, from other sources. It is allowed. Then a question from Nicola. So we're not eligible, if I understood correctly. I cannot recall the previous question. I think it was related to the eligible applicants. I'm trying to find again the slide. So here it is. And I'll go to the next one because we have a couple of more questions. Is there a TRL to be reached at the end of the pilot? Lucas, maybe you can take that one.
Yeah, I can take actually both. So if you still have doubts, if the slide here is not fully answering your question, please detail exactly why you think it's eligible, like what your question is exactly, link the funding source. We can either check directly with the EIC and our own grant agreement that we have, and double check and give you a clear yes no answer on that as well. But basically, yeah, we were looking for EIC Pathfinders, EIC Transition, EIC Accelerator, and then EIC prize winners with the signed contract. So that's basically it. If this is not clear enough, please then write this full part why you think maybe it's a little bit dubious, so we can look into it, because we are getting this question quite a lot. So probably there is something a discrepancy that we could clear up quite easily, but we would need a little bit more information from your side on that. So I ask you kindly to send us an email. We can collect it, and then we can maybe even post something somewhere online on our website to clarify some of the confusion. But we have a question here. Is the TRL to be reached at the end of the pilot? Well, as you can see from the bullet point here, you should be able to commercialize the solution afterwards. Okay, so that's linked to a certain TRL level. If you think you are very low TRL, but you can make it in the end and you hope for the best, then sure, you can try. But we will look for it will be a criteria, right? So if you are closer to commercialization, it's probably better.
Thank you, Lucas. And at the same time, there is no specific restriction or specific requirement in our open call guidelines in regard to the TRL. Then another question, do you have the application template available for download? Yes, we do. It seems the F6S platform has problems with the users and big entities like universities, and we still don't have access to the application. So let me try to find the slide. The documents. This is exactly taken from our website. If you go to our website, to the open call EIC Awardee and buyer, and I'll ask my colleague Paula to paste the link to this to our webpage in the chat. If you go there, you will see, if you scroll a little bit down, you will see the open call documents section. You can see the documents that are due at application stage. These are the guidelines for you to check and carefully read. Then you'll have the application form. This is a read-only file because this is basically the online application in the platform. And then the proposal template and the letter of commitment from the buyer are templates to be downloaded and to be filled in and submitted to the online application form. You can find all the documents again on our website. Then you can register on the F6S platform and proceed with submitting your application. And because there are such questions each and every time when it comes to open course applications, on our next info webinar, we will also deep dive into the application process, into the F6S registration, platform registration, and to the application submissions, so we can clear this topic for you as well. And now, yes, Lucas?
I can quickly comment on Nicola. Does it mean that you have gone through the SME, through the SME phase instrument and are now becoming part of the EIC accelerator? Or are you officially then part of the EIC accelerator? Because that's what we would need from that.
Exactly. A signed contract for the EIC accelerator or for any of the other mentioned, EIC Pathfinder, EIC Transition, or in case you're an EIC prize winner. Thank you, Lucas. I hope this answered the question. And then we don't have any other questions. We still have 8 minutes, so please use them. If not, as I've mentioned again, you'll have the chance to ask your questions on our next info webinar for OpenCall 1 for EIC Awardee and Buyer, which will be on March 25th from 3 CET, Brussels time. No more questions? Okay, I'll close the... another one.
Please do send the email. Then we can double check. As of now, I don't think it will. It doesn't look promising. I'm very sorry, but please do send an email. We can double check.
And I think that Carlos also answered to that one in written. But yeah, if we receive an email or a message in the discussion board in the platform, we will be happy to answer and to provide more clarification on that. Thank you. Welcome. So waiting another minute or two for another question, if any. If not, we will close the info session for today, and we'll wait for you to join at the end of the month. There will be still time afterwards for you to prepare your applications. Just to remind you, we're closing the call on April 17th. And there's another question meanwhile.
Yeah, we can do so. We can definitely check in with the EIC Accelerator what exactly they're planning to do. We just have very clear instructions coming from who is eligible and who is not, and we need to be adhering to it quite strictly. That's why it's maybe a difficult spot at the moment. But yeah, we need to be, unfortunately, if this is like a recent thing that it moved from there, we need to be quite strict with it. So we need to have like full EIC Accelerator, things like that. So at least from our side, that's why it might be a bit unfortunate that you're in this transition phase at the moment, but it's since we received that question quite a lot, we will clarify. And it might be good indeed to take the approach where we can publish maybe something on the website or on our social media or on our FAQs to clarify that matter.
It is already available in our FAQ section, basically, but indeed additional clarification might be needed, and we will provide it. It is not a transition, it is the same funding, yes, but the SME instrument is different than the EIC Accelerator. And it is very important to make the difference because basically the SME instrument is the predecessor of the EIC Accelerator. And again, in this eligibility criteria for our open call, we're only mentioning, as you can see, EIC Accelerator all the time. So not SME instrument, but the EIC Accelerator, and there is a reason for that. So yeah, please do check and we will provide additional information again in our FAQ section on the website, but these are the eligibility rules in order who can apply for this specific open call. Okay. So another minute, maybe. We wait for additional questions. I believe we've clarified more or less about this eligibility question about the eligible applicants. But Lucas, you wanted to say something, so please jump in.
No, I just wanted to say that if you have like any questions later, then I hope that you know where to find us as well. So right now you might have all your questions answered, but maybe tomorrow before the weekend you think about it again, or maybe on Monday you start your new week and you have fresh energy and you think about those guys on the info webinar, I forgot to ask something. Then you know, I hope you know where to find us, right? So you can either contact us directly to the website, email. If you have a problem with the F6S platform as a university, please put it from there. And we'll try to include all of the questions asked in the FAQ as well.
Indeed, or keep all your questions, collect them, and ask them on the next info webinar.
Thank you.
We will try to answer them. Okay, I think this is it for today, or no? Another one? Yes, thank you. We'll send an email. Okay, thank you so much. Please do so. I think we've clarified it on the today's session. I know not all of the eligible criteria for the open calls are always fair for everyone, but those are the rules. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today with us, for asking all your questions. There were very interesting questions, very specific questions. And again, we do expect you to send them by email or in the discussion board so that we can discuss it further. And yeah, enjoy your evening and see you on the next info webinar when we will be providing some additional information on how to apply, how to register at the F6S platform, and about the application documents. So it will be a little bit different than this more introductory session to the open call. Thank you all.